Welcome back to the channel, USA Coins 69, where we unlock the mysteries hidden inside your pocket change and reveal how ordinary coins can turn into treasures worth a small fortune. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of a tiny coin that carries an extraordinary value, the United States of America Roosevelt 1 dime from the year 1992. This coin might seem like just another 10-cent piece that you've probably seen hundreds of times before. But what if I told you that one special version of the 1992 Roosevelt dime is worth more than a luxury car, more than a gold bar, and even more than some people's homes? That's right, we're talking about a coin so rare and so perfect that collectors are willing to pay an incredible $97,000 for it. But how can such a small coin hold such massive value? Well, the answer lies in its fascinating history, beautiful design, minting details, and the few rare examples that survived in flawless condition. So, sit tight, grab your magnifying glass, and let's explore everything about the 1992 Roosevelt dime that could make it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Let's begin with a bit of background. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, following the death of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. FDR had been a beloved leader who guided the nation through the Great Depression and most of World War II. Beyond politics, he had a personal connection to the March of Dimes, a charity dedicated to fighting polio, a disease that he himself battled for much of his life. To honor his legacy and contributions, the U.S. Mint replaced the Mercury dime with the Roosevelt dime. Designed by chief engraver John R. Sinek, this new dime carried the president's dignified profile on the obverse side, symbolizing leadership, resilience, and compassion, the very traits Roosevelt was known for. Now, fast forward to 1992, nearly 5 decades after the first Roosevelt dime was minted. This was a time when the U.S. Mint had perfected its modern minting technology. Coins were being struck with incredible precision, and yet, every now and then, something extraordinary slipped through the cracks, an error, a rare variation, or a coin in near-perfect condition that collectors would one day chase with passion. The 1992 Roosevelt dime was produced in several U.S. Mint locations, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, the Denver ones bear the D mint mark, and the San Francisco coins display the S mark for proof issues. Each mint produced millions of these coins, making them seem common at first glance. But the real magic lies in the details. Let's take a closer look at the design. On the front, we have the familiar image of President Franklin D. Roosevelt facing left, his expression calm yet determined. Above his head is the word Liberty, to his left the national motto "In God We Trust," and beneath his neckline is the mint year, 1992. The designer's initials, JS, appear just below Roosevelt's neck truncation, paying tribute to John Sinek's artistry. On the reverse side of the dime, we find a striking arrangement of national symbols. In the center, there's a flaming torch representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch on the left symbolizing peace and an oak branch on the right symbolizing strength. Together, they represent the 3 virtues America strives to uphold: liberty, peace, and strength. Encircling this elegant design are the inscriptions United States of America, e pluribus unum, which means, out of many, one, and the denomination 1 dime. Despite the coin's small size, the Roosevelt dime is a masterpiece of balance, detail, and symbolism. It's a coin that millions of people handle daily without realizing that within its familiar design lies the potential for immense rarity and value. So, what makes the 1992 Roosevelt dime so special? The secret lies in 2 main factors: condition and minting variations. First, let's talk about condition. Most 1992 dimes were used in everyday commerce, passed from hand to hand, pocket to pocket, eventually losing their original luster and fine details. However, a few rare examples have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition, coins that were never released into circulation, stored carefully since the day they were minted. These coins, especially those graded by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC at mint state 68 or higher, can command staggering prices at auction. Now, onto rarity and minting errors, the real treasures for coin collectors. During the minting process, even a tiny imperfection can create an entirely unique coin. Some 1992 dimes have been discovered with fascinating and rare features. These include double die obverse coins, where parts of the design appear doubled, off-center strikes, die cracks, or even missing letters due to die wear, but one of the most famous and valuable varieties connected to this year is the 1992 P and 1992 D Roosevelt dime with the close AM reverse design. An error that occurred when the reverse design intended for proof coins was accidentally used on regular circulation dimes. In this variant, the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse side is much closer than usual. If you have a dime where the A and M nearly touch, you could be looking at a highly desirable variety that's worth a fortune. Collectors love coins like this because they're accidents of history, small minting mistakes that slipped past inspectors and went into circulation unnoticed. Finding one today is like striking gold in the world of coin collecting. Another factor that adds to the value of the 1992 Roosevelt dime is eye appeal. A coin's beauty, its shine, toning, and detail, can make a massive difference in its market price. Coins with vibrant rainbow toning or a perfect, frosty luster are considered visually stunning and are often the most sought after by advanced collectors. You might be wondering, how does one even find such a rare dime? The truth is, many collectors have discovered valuable coins in ordinary coin rolls, pocket change, or inherited coin jars. All it takes is patience, a keen eye, and a little bit of luck. When examining your coins, pay close attention to the date, the mint mark, and any irregularities in the design. A small difference could mean the difference between a 10-cent coin and a 5-figure treasure. The 1992 Roosevelt dime represents a fascinating period in U.S. coinage history. It bridges the gap between the older copper-nickel-clad coins of the 20th century and the highly refined modern issues of the 21st century. Its continued relevance in the collector market proves that even coins from relatively recent decades can achieve legendary status when the right combination of rarity and condition comes together. Over the years, collectors have increasingly turned their attention toward modern dimes like the 1992 issue. Why? Because the supply of older, high-grade examples is limited. Each year that passes, more coins get lost, damaged, or melted down, leaving fewer pristine examples behind. As a result, their value keeps climbing. Coin experts often advise new collectors to never overlook the small denominations. While most people focus on dollars, half dollars, or quarters, many of the biggest surprises in the numismatic world have come from tiny coins like the Roosevelt dime. Their size might be small, but their stories, and sometimes their prices, are enormous. Imagine this for a moment. You open an old coin album, and tucked inside, you find a 1992 Roosevelt dime that looks different. It's gleaming, almost untouched, the details sharp and perfect. You check the mint mark, the spacing of the letters, and every feature looks flawless. You take it for appraisal, and the expert's jaw drops. You're holding a once-in-a-lifetime find. That's exactly what happened to a few lucky collectors who stumbled upon these exceptional coins. Their stories continue to inspire treasure hunters, reminding us that sometimes the most valuable things in life are hiding in plain sight, small, unassuming, but packed with history and potential. So, before you spend that next dime, take a moment to look closely. Examine the year, the mint mark, and the details on both sides. You might just have a hidden fortune sitting right there in your change jar or coin collection. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the breathtaking truth about just how valuable this small coin can be. Among collectors and at major coin auctions, one flawless 1992 Roosevelt dime in perfect uncirculated condition, with its sharp details, lustrous surface, and incredible rarity, has been valued at an astounding $97,000. Yes, $97,000 for a single 10-cent coin. It's almost unbelievable, but that's the magic of coin collecting. Every dime, penny, and quarter holds a story, and sometimes that story is worth more than gold itself. Today, we're diving deep into a small yet incredibly powerful piece of American history, the United States of America Roosevelt dime from the year 1990. Now, don't let its tiny size fool you. This little 10-cent coin has a story that's far bigger than its face value. It's a coin that carries decades of history, artistry, and patriotic symbolism, and for a few lucky collectors, one special version of the 1990 Roosevelt dime has turned out to be worth a truly life-changing amount of money. Believe it or not, one of these coins in exceptional, flawless condition has been valued at an unbelievable $99,000, but how can such a small coin, one that most of us have handled countless times without a second thought, become worth more than a luxury car or even a small house? Let's explore the fascinating background, history, and special details that make the 1990 Roosevelt dime one of the most intriguing coins of modern U.S. minting. To understand why this dime is so valuable, we first need to go back to its origins. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, just a year after the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. FDR wasn't just a powerful leader who guided the nation through the Great Depression and most of World War II, he also played a crucial role in the fight against polio, a disease that had personally affected him. To honor his legacy, the U.S. Mint decided to replace the beloved Mercury dime with a new design featuring Roosevelt's portrait. The new coin was designed by John R. Sinek, who captured Roosevelt's strength, dignity, and compassion in a profile that remains iconic to this day. Now, by 1990, the Roosevelt dime had already been in production for over 40 years. The U.S. Mint had transitioned from the older 90% silver composition to a modern copper-nickel-clad version, which had become standard for all circulating dimes after 1964. This means that the 1990 Roosevelt dime was made from a copper core layered between two sheets of nickel, giving it its familiar silver color but without any actual silver content. The 1990 dimes were minted at multiple locations across the country, including Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, marked with an S. The Philadelphia and Denver coins were struck for circulation, while the San Francisco Mint produced proof versions, special, highly detailed coins made specifically for collectors. At first glance, the 1990 Roosevelt dime looks like any other modern dime. But hidden among the millions that were produced, a few rare examples have shocked the coin collecting world due to their condition, errors, and incredible appeal. On the obverse, or front side, of the coin, you'll see Franklin D. Roosevelt facing left. Above his head is the word Liberty, a reminder of the very principles Roosevelt worked to protect. To the left of his chin are the words "I in God We Trust," and beneath his neck, you'll find the mint year, 1990. Just below Roosevelt's neck is a small JS, the initials of designer John Sinek, who left his artistic mark on every dime since 1946. On the reverse side, you'll see one of the most symbolic and well-balanced designs in American coinage, a flaming torch in the center, representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch on the left, symbolizing peace, and an oak branch on the right, symbolizing strength and independence. The inscriptions United States of America, e pluribus unum, out of many, one, and one dime complete the design. The beauty of the Roosevelt dime lies not only in its symbolism but also in its simplicity. Every detail, from the curve of Roosevelt's hair to the tiny veins on the olive branch, was carefully crafted. And when one of these coins is struck perfectly, without any flaws or blemishes, it becomes a miniature masterpiece. Now, let's talk about what makes certain 1990 dimes worth far more than others. The first factor is condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, where 70 represents a perfect, flawless coin, one that shows absolutely no signs of wear, even under magnification. Most dimes that circulate through everyday use show scratches, wear, and fading. But a few rare examples have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition, with full luster and sharp details exactly as they were the day they left the mint. Coins graded mint state 67, 68, or even 69 are incredibly rare for the 1990 dime and can fetch tremendous prices at auction. Then there are error coins, the true gems that collectors dream of discovering. A mint error occurs when something unusual happens during the coin's production. This could include double strikes, off-center strikes, missing elements, or even a wrong planchet, where the coin is accidentally struck on metal meant for a different denomination. One of the most fascinating examples from this year is the 1990 No-S proof dime, a variety that has become legendary in the world of modern coin collecting. This error occurred when a proof die intended to bear the S mint mark from the San Francisco Mint was mistakenly used without the mark. As a result, a few 1990 proof dimes were minted with no mint mark at all, making them incredibly rare and highly sought after. These no-S dimes were struck with mirror-like precision, intended for collectors, and yet the absence of that tiny S instantly transformed them into numismatic legends. For coin collectors, discovering a 1990 dime without a mint mark is like finding hidden treasure. The combination of rarity, minting history, and flawless craftsmanship makes these coins among the most desirable in modern U.S. numismatics, but the surprises don't stop there. Some 1990 dimes have shown signs of double die errors, where the design appears slightly doubled due to misalignment during the striking process. Others have been discovered with off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the planchet wasn't correctly positioned when struck. These kinds of errors are incredibly appealing to collectors because each one is unique. No two are exactly the same. Another factor that drives value is eye appeal. Some dimes from 1990 have developed natural rainbow toning over the years, a colorful sheen caused by oxidation and environmental exposure. When the toning forms in attractive patterns or colors, collectors are often willing to pay a significant premium for its beauty alone. Now, you might be wondering, how can I tell if my 1990 dime is valuable? The answer lies in close inspection. First, check the mint mark, located just above the date on the front of the coin. If you find a 1990 dime with no mint mark but a proof-like mirror finish, you might be looking at a rare, no-S variety. Then, check for doubling, off-center strikes, or any unusual surface patterns. And, of course, examine the overall condition. The sharper and shinier it looks, the more valuable it could be. Collectors and dealers across the country are constantly searching for these coins. Some have been discovered in original proof sets, while others have turned up in circulation by sheer luck. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know when you might stumble upon something extraordinary hiding in plain sight. The Roosevelt dime, especially from years like 1990, is a perfect example of how modern U.S. coinage still holds hidden value. Even though it's small, lightweight, and made of everyday materials, it carries with it decades of history, artistry, and the potential for astonishing worth. Over the years, the market for modern era and variety coins has exploded. Collectors are increasingly fascinated by coins from the late 20th century because they represent a blend of tradition and modern minting technology. Each coin tells a story, not just of the president it depicts, but of the country's evolution in design, production, and even culture. So the next time you get change at a store, don't ignore those small coins. Take a moment to look at your dimes carefully. Who knows? That little coin could be one of the rare ones that slipped through the cracks, waiting for decades to be rediscovered. Coin collecting is about more than money, it's about history, curiosity, and the thrill of discovery. Every coin has a past, and sometimes, that past comes with a value that can completely change your future. And now comes the moment you've been waiting for, the unbelievable truth about just how much this small piece of metal can be worth. Among collectors and at high-end auctions, one flawless example of the 1990 Roosevelt 1 dime, preserved in perfect mint state condition, with sharp detail and flawless strike, has been valued at a jaw-dropping $99,000. Yes, you heard that right, $99,000 for a single 10-cent coin. A dime that could fit in your pocket, rest on your palm, or roll under your couch could be worth nearly $100,000. Today, we're talking about a coin that might be sitting quietly in your drawer, your coin jar, or even your wallet right now, the United States of America Roosevelt 1 dime from the year 1987. Now, at first glance, the 1987 Roosevelt dime seems like an ordinary piece of pocket change, small, silver in color, lightweight, and familiar. But what if I told you that some versions of this very coin are worth thousands, and one in perfect, rare condition has been valued at an incredible $83,000? That's right, just 10 cents that could be worth as much as a brand new car or even a year's salary for many people. Let's dive into this amazing story and learn what makes the 1987 Roosevelt dime so fascinating, rare, and potentially life-changing. To understand why this little coin holds so much value, we first need to appreciate its history. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946, right after the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Roosevelt was not only a great leader who guided the nation through the Great Depression and most of World War II, but he was also a key figure in founding the March of Dimes, an organization dedicated to fighting polio, a disease he himself battled. In honor of his contributions, the U.S. Mint replaced the Mercury dime with a new design bearing his portrait. The designer, John R. Sinek, created a simple yet dignified image of Roosevelt, facing left, symbolizing courage, determination, and hope. It's a design that has remained unchanged for nearly 8 decades. By 1987, the Roosevelt dime had already become a long-standing American icon. These dimes were no longer made of silver, as they were before 1965. Instead, they were composed of a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel, giving them their silvery color. The 1987 dimes were minted at 3 major U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, with no mint mark; Denver, marked with a small d; and San Francisco, marked with an S, and usually struck as proof coins for collectors. Each mint produced millions of these coins, so in theory, they should all be quite common. But as every collector knows, not all coins are created equal. Hidden among the millions of 1987 dimes are a few rare examples that defy expectations. Whether due to flawless minting, rare errors, or unique features, these few coins have become prized treasures in the world of numismatics. Let's take a closer look at the coin itself. On the front, or obverse, we see Franklin D. Roosevelt's portrait, facing left. Above his head is the word liberty, one of the most powerful words in American history. To the left, near his chin, are the words "In God We Trust," and beneath his neck is the year 1987. If you look closely, you'll also find the initials, JS, the signature mark of John Sinek, the artist behind this timeless design. Depending on where the coin was minted, you may also see a tiny mint mark just above the year, AD for Denver, or no mark for Philadelphia. On the back, or reverse, we have one of the most beautifully balanced designs in U.S. coinage: a flaming torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, an olive branch on the left, representing peace, and an oak branch on the right, representing strength and independence. The words United States of America curve around the top, e pluribus unum, out of many, one, runs across the middle, and the denomination 1 dime sits proudly at the bottom. It's simple, elegant, and deeply symbolic. Every time you hold one, you're holding a little piece of American history. So, how does an everyday 1987 dime become something worth tens of thousands of dollars? The secret lies in rarity, condition, and minting errors. First, condition plays a massive role. The grading scale for coins goes from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin, absolutely flawless, with sharp details and brilliant luster. Most dimes in circulation are scratched, worn, or faded. But once in a while, a coin escapes circulation entirely. Maybe it was stored carefully in a collection or preserved in a mint set. These mint state dimes can shine with mirror-like brilliance and show every tiny detail as it appeared on the day it was struck. A 1987 Roosevelt dime graded mint state 68 or higher is incredibly rare. Collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands for such coins because they are nearly perfect, something that becomes more difficult to find every year as coins age and wear. Then, there are error coins, which are the true stars of modern numismatics. An error occurs when something goes wrong during the minting process, and in 1987, a few of these mistakes created some of the most interesting and valuable modern dimes ever seen. Some 1987 dimes have been discovered with off-center strikes, meaning the coin blank was not properly aligned when struck, resulting in part of the design missing or shifted to one side. Others show double die errors, where the design appears slightly doubled, especially around the letters or date. These coins look unusual and instantly catch the eye of collectors. Even more exciting are the missing mint mark errors, which occasionally occur on proof coins made at the San Francisco Mint. Proof coins are specially made with mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp details, intended for collectors rather than circulation. But sometimes, due to die preparation mistakes, the S mint mark is accidentally left off. When that happens, the coin instantly becomes a rare variety, a mistake that turns a common proof into a high-value collectible. over the years, collectors have paid huge premiums for Roosevelt dimes with missing mint marks from the 1980s and 1990s. These coins are extremely limited and highly sought after. Another thing to consider is eye appeal, the beauty of the coin. Some 1987 dimes have developed stunning natural toning over time, showing shades of gold, blue, or rainbow hues due to oxidation. When these colors form evenly and attractively, they make the coin even more desirable and valuable. So, how can you tell if your 1987 dime might be valuable? Here's what to do: look at the mint mark, found just above the date, examine both sides carefully under good light or with a magnifying glass, check for signs of doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual patterns. If it looks flawless and shiny, it might be uncirculated, meaning it could be worth much more than 10 cents. It's also worth checking proof sets from 1987 if you or your family ever collected them. Many rare dimes have been discovered sitting unnoticed for decades in their original packaging. The Roosevelt dime may not be made of silver anymore, but its historical and collectible value remains strong. It represents not just the memory of a great president, but also the spirit of America's fight for liberty, peace, and strength. Each dime tells a story, and some tell a story so rare that they change lives. Think about it: every time you handle change, you're holding a tiny piece of history, one that might have been minted decades ago, passed through countless hands, and survived wars, recessions, and cultural shifts. It's easy to overlook coins, but hidden among them could be a treasure that only a careful eye can spot. Collectors all around the world are constantly searching for the next big discovery. A small error, a perfect strike, or a rare minting variation could make all the difference. And that's what keeps the hobby of coin collecting alive: the mystery, the history, and the excitement of finding something priceless hiding in plain sight. So, before you spend your next dime, take a closer look. It might be more valuable than you think, because, believe it or not, one perfectly preserved 1987 Roosevelt dime, flawless, shimmering, and rare, was valued by collectors and sold for an astonishing $83,000. Yes, you heard that right, $83,000 for a single 10-cent coin. That's the magic of numismatics, where a simple coin from your pocket can turn into a fortune, and where history and chance come together to create true treasures. Today's story will absolutely surprise you. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the United States of America Roosevelt dime from the year 2000. Now, at first glance, the 2000 Roosevelt dime might seem like nothing special. It's small, silver in color, and you've probably handled hundreds of them in your life without a second thought. But what if I told you that some rare examples of this little 10-cent coin are worth thousands, and one exceptional specimen reached an unbelievable value of $87,000? That's right, a dime that could be worth as much as a luxury car, a down payment on a house, or a college education. So, sit back, relax, and let's explore how this modern dime became such a collector's dream. The story of the Roosevelt dime is one rooted in American history and national pride. The design was first introduced in 1946, created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt shortly after his passing. Roosevelt wasn't just a beloved president, he was also the founder of the March of Dimes, an organization that helped fight polio and improve public health across the United States. It only seemed fitting that his image would appear on the 10-cent coin, the very coin that symbolized the fight against disease and the power of unity. The design, created by John R. Sinek, features a portrait of Roosevelt facing left. It's simple but powerful, representing leadership, resilience, and progress. On the front, or obverse, you'll see Roosevelt's profile with the word liberty curving along the left edge, the phrase "In God We Trust" just below his chin, the year 2000 under his neck, and the initials J.S., Sinek's signature as the designer. You'll also notice a small mint mark near the year, which tells you where the coin was produced. The year 2000 Roosevelt dimes were minted in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, with no mint mark, Denver, with a small d, and San Francisco, with an S, used mainly for proof coins. While millions of these dimes were produced, not all of them are the same, and some contain rare variations or minting errors that can dramatically increase their value. Turning to the back, or reverse, you'll find one of the most symbolic designs in U.S. coinage. In the center stands a torch, representing liberty and enlightenment, the flame of freedom that defines the American spirit. To the left of the torch, you'll see an olive branch, representing peace, while to the right, there's an oak branch, symbolizing strength and independence. Surrounding these are the inscriptions United States of America, e pluribus unum, out of many, one, and of course, the denomination 1 dime. The coin is made of a copper core covered with a layer of nickel, giving it that shiny, silver appearance. By the year 2000, silver had long been removed from U.S. circulating dimes, but collectors still cherished the design and sought after special versions, especially those with unusual traits, minting errors, or uncirculated brilliance. Now, what makes some 2000 Roosevelt dimes so special that they can sell for tens of thousands of dollars? It all comes down to three key factors: rarity, condition, and error varieties. Let's start with condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a flawless, perfect coin, no scratches, no marks, no signs of wear. Most dimes from 2000 were used in daily transactions, meaning they show signs of circulation, dull surfaces, worn edges, or tiny scratches. However, a small number were perfectly preserved, stored in mint sets or protected by collectors from the very beginning. These pristine, mint state, coins can shine with a mirror-like surface and exhibit incredible detail. A 2000 Roosevelt dime graded MS68 or higher is exceptionally rare, and collectors compete fiercely for such examples. As the grade approaches perfection, the value skyrockets. That's because these high-grade coins represent the best of the best. Only a few may exist in such flawless condition. Then, we have error coins, the real stars of numismatic discovery. Minting errors happen when something goes wrong during the production process, and in the case of the 2000 Roosevelt dime, a few rare mistakes have made certain coins priceless. Some of the most sought-after errors include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing or misaligned. Others feature double-die errors, where parts of the design, like the date or lettering, appear slightly doubled under magnification. There are also missing mint mark or missing edge reading errors, rare varieties that happen when the minting equipment malfunctions. Another fascinating error is when the dime is struck on the wrong planchet, for example, a dime struck on a foreign coin blank or even a cent planchet. These types of mistakes create unique, one-of-a-kind coins that collectors are willing to pay massive sums for. Proof coins, especially those minted in San Francisco with the S mark, are also highly collectible. These coins are specially made with polished dies and planchets to produce sharp, mirror-like finishes. A 2000 S Roosevelt dime in perfect proof, 70 deep cameo condition can command impressive prices, especially if it displays rare toning or an unusual mint feature. But what really drives collectors wild are those ultra-rare, perfectly preserved examples that combine condition, rarity, and history. When a 2000 Roosevelt dime has zero blemishes, sharp details, and stunning eye appeal, it becomes more than just a coin. It becomes art, a historical artifact that tells a story about American craftsmanship and precision. Let's talk a bit about the symbolism behind this coin, because it's not just about the metal or the minting, it's about what it represents. The Roosevelt dime stands as a symbol of leadership during times of struggle. The torch represents the light that Roosevelt helped shine on America during its darkest days, guiding the nation through war and economic depression. The olive and oak branches show that true leadership requires both peace and strength, qualities that defined Roosevelt's presidency and America's resilience in the 20th century. Even in 2000, decades after its first release, this coin continued to carry the message of hope, perseverance, and unity. Holding one is like holding a little piece of that legacy. Now imagine finding one of these 2000 dimes in your collection, maybe one that looks brand new, gleaming under the light, untouched by time. You might think it's worth just 10 cents, but that single coin could hold a value that would leave you speechless. If you're a collector or even just a casual coin enthusiast, here's what you should look for in your 2000 Roosevelt dime. Check for the mint mark, located just above the date. If it's an S, it's a proof coin. A D means Denver, and no mark means Philadelphia. Look at the condition. Is it scratched or dull, or does it still shine like new? Examine the edges for any missing reading, the tiny ridges around the rim. Inspect both sides under a magnifying glass for doubling, off-center strikes, or other unusual marks. Even a small difference could make your dime worth far more than you imagine. Collectors around the world are constantly on the hunt for the rarest examples, and every year, new discoveries are made in old collections, change jars, or forgotten drawers. So before you spend that dime, take a closer look, because you never know what kind of treasure might be hiding in plain sight. This is what makes coin collecting such an exciting journey. Each coin you hold connects you to history, a moment in time preserved in metal. It's more than just currency, it's a story of art, technology, and human achievement, and among all those coins, some are extraordinary, so rare that they defy belief. Like the incredible story of one 2000 Roosevelt 1 dime, preserved in perfect condition, a coin so flawless and rare that it was valued at an astonishing $87,000, yes, you heard that right, $87,000 for a single 10-cent coin. That's the magic of the Roosevelt dime, a reminder that even the smallest, most ordinary things can hold unbelievable value when viewed through the eyes of history, rarity, and passion. Today's video is going to change your mind completely. Because we're about to uncover the fascinating story behind one of America's smallest but potentially most valuable coins, the United States of America Roosevelt 1 dime from the year 1989. Now, don't be fooled by its size. This tiny coin, often overlooked and passed through countless hands in grocery stores, vending machines, and gas stations, has a secret that has stunned collectors and investors alike. Some 1989 Roosevelt dimes have fetched incredible prices in the collector's market, and one in nearly flawless condition sold for an astonishing $84,000. That's right, a 10-cent coin that's worth more than some luxury cars or even a down payment on a home. But before we jump into the value, let's step back in time and understand what makes this little dime such a remarkable piece of American history. The Roosevelt dime has been a symbol of leadership, courage, and national pride since it was first minted in 1946. After the passing of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the U.S. Mint decided to honor him with a coin that represented both his legacy and his contributions to the nation. Roosevelt wasn't just one of America's most beloved presidents, he also played a key role in founding the March of Dimes, an organization dedicated to fighting polio. Because of this, placing his portrait on the 10-cent coin was more than fitting. It was symbolic. Designed by John R. Sinek, the Roosevelt dime replaced the Mercury dime and carried forward a simpler, more modern look. On the obverse, or front side, you'll find Roosevelt's profile facing left, a confident and dignified image that captures his strength and resolve. Above his head, the word Liberty curves gracefully around the rim, while the motto "In God We Trust" sits to the left of his chin. Just beneath the neck is the year of minting, in this case, 1989, and right above it, the small mint mark that reveals where the coin was struck. You'll also notice the tiny initials, JS, representing the designer's signature. In 1989, the Roosevelt dime was produced at multiple mint facilities, primarily in Philadelphia, with no mint mark, Denver, with a D mark, and San Francisco, with an S, used for proof coins. While millions of these coins were made, only a handful hold the qualities that make them incredibly valuable today. Flip the coin over to its reverse side, and you'll see one of the most meaningful designs in American coinage, a flaming torch in the center, representing liberty and enlightenment, flanked by an olive branch on the left symbolizing peace and an oak branch on the right representing strength and independence. Together, they form a powerful message of unity and resilience, ideals that define the American spirit. The inscriptions "United States of America, e pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one," and "1 dime" complete the design, tying history, symbolism, and artistry into a coin that has circulated for nearly 8 decades. But what transforms a simple 1989 Roosevelt dime into something worth tens of thousands of dollars? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and minting errors, the holy trinity of coin collecting. Let's start with condition, the first and most important factor. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, where 70 represents absolute perfection, a coin with flawless details, brilliant luster, and no scratches, even under magnification. Most coins you find in your pocket are far from perfect, they've been used, scratched, and handled thousands of times. However, a 1989 Roosevelt dime that has never entered circulation, one that has been preserved in pristine, mint state condition, is a completely different story. A coin graded at mint state 68 or higher can be a true gem. It glows with brilliance, sharpness, and a level of detail that ordinary eyes rarely see. These top-grade examples are few and far between, and that scarcity drives collectors to bid astronomical prices for them. Now, let's talk about mint errors, which are every collector's dream. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, and in 1989, a few extraordinary examples slipped through the quality checks. Some coins were struck off-center, causing parts of the design to be missing or misaligned. Others have double die errors, where letters or numbers appear slightly doubled because the die moved between strikes. Then there are missing mint mark or broad strike errors, where the coin's rim is not properly formed, giving it an odd, flat appearance. One of the most fascinating and valuable errors in the Roosevelt dime series comes from coins struck on the wrong planchet. For example, a dime accidentally struck on a copper penny blank or a foreign coin blank. These types of errors are extremely rare and instantly recognizable, making them highly desirable among collectors. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint are another area of great interest. These coins were specially made for collectors and not intended for everyday use. They were struck using polished dies and planchets, producing mirror-like finishes and razor-sharp details. A 1989 Roosevelt dime in perfect proof 70 deep cameo condition, with a strong contrast between the frosted portrait and the mirror background, can command a small fortune, especially if it has any unique toning or minting variety. Speaking of toning, this is another aspect that can increase value. Over time, coins may develop natural coloration from exposure to air or certain materials. If the toning creates a beautiful, rainbow-like pattern without damaging the coin, it can make the piece even more valuable. Collectors love coins that have both technical perfection and artistic beauty, and when those qualities meet, prices soar. But beyond the numbers, what makes the 1989 Roosevelt dime truly special is its place in American history. The year 1989 marked the end of a decade filled with change. The Cold War was nearing its conclusion, technology was advancing rapidly, and the U.S. Mint was modernizing its processes. Every dime minted that year represents a moment in that transition, a small metallic witness to an era when America was stepping into the future while still carrying the legacy of its past. So, what should you look for if you want to find a valuable 1989 dime? Here are some key tips. Check the mint mark above the year. Proof coins with the S mint mark from San Francisco are always worth examining closely. Inspect both sides carefully for errors like doubling, misalignment, or missing features. Evaluate the condition. If the coin looks shiny, flawless, and uncirculated, it might be a high-grade piece. Check the edges. The tiny ridges around the coin, called reading, should be even and complete. Missing or uneven edges might indicate a rare minting error. If you think you found something unusual, it's always worth having it professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can confirm your coin's authenticity and value, and it can make a world of difference when it comes to selling or trading it. The truth is, millions of Roosevelt dimes were minted in 1989, but only a few have the combination of perfection and rarity that makes them truly special. For those lucky enough to find one, it's like striking gold, only smaller, shinier, and much more fascinating. Just imagine the story: a dime you've carried in your pocket for years, sitting forgotten in a jar or tucked away in an old wallet, could be a hidden treasure worth thousands. That's the magic of coin collecting, history and chance combining to create something extraordinary. So next time you get change at the store or go through your old coin collection, take a moment to really look at your dimes. Check the year, the mint mark, and the details. Because the next big discovery could be waiting in your hands, hidden in plain sight. And believe it or not, one exceptional 1989 Roosevelt dime, flawless, perfectly preserved, and gleaming with history, was valued by collectors and sold for an incredible $84,000. Yes, you heard that right. $84,000 for a single 10-cent coin. It's proof that sometimes the smallest treasures carry the biggest surprises. So keep your eyes open, your coins close, and your curiosity alive, because your next dime could be worth far more than you ever imagined. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss our next deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes, that story is worth $84,000.